Artificial intelligence and the future of work. And joining me to talk on this subject matter is Aliyu Shata. You're welcome to Business Express.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
Great, it's been a while.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, good. Before we look at artificial intelligence as it were, let me pick your thoughts on the recent confirmation of the central bank governor. Any ideas on how to slow down inflation?
For now, I think the new sheriff in town will always want to first understand what has happened. I think he mentioned it. He needs to understand the terrain, what has happened, how it happened, and before he begins to make his own decision and also make policies that can affect the economy. But he said it that he will just look at all of those debts first that the CBN is owing, to see how we can net off some of those debts, then roll the ball from there. But for me, I think essentially the task at hand will be to stabilize the exchange rate first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, stabilizing the exchange rate is one. Another ambitious project that he announced is a generation of 1 trillion naira value of GDP in 8 years. We're talking about artificial intelligence and how it can help markets grow and increase our GDP. Do you see this AI playing a role in this project?
Oh, sure. If you look at after the effects of COVID-19, you can see the impact of artificial intelligence in all ramifications, most especially in our daily lives. Name it health, transportation, but one of the sectors that had the most significant impact is the financial sector. And if you see all of the boom that has happened in that sector, right, you can see that it has created a lot of ecosystem that is boosting a lot of economic activities. And the body language of the current administration also, speaks to the fact that we are moving to a digitally acceptable economy, because most of the policies, most of the ministers that have even come to speak about, what they want to do, the impact they want to, give in the economy, they've actually, identified technology as a key driver. And artificial intelligence is the one doing all of the back end, input to drive efficiency, to drive productivity, and to drive scalability as well in all of the ecosystem of our economy.
Okay, talking about productivity and the need to adopt this new technology in town. Tell us what we need as a country, particularly at this point in time, to get this application, and what does it actually mean in real sense for the productive sector of the economy?
So first, you want to tilt towards the policy of the current administration, because that is exactly what is going to lay the template, for everybody to adopt. And I'm glad that we have someone who is tech savvy, as the Minister of Communication and Digital Economy. And that is already snowballing into a lot of things that I feel, will come out positively in all of the sectors that we have. So that is the first step. The next step is there has to be an alignment of some sort within, the all arms of government to understand that this is the trajectory that the government want to move, and everybody keys into that, policy making mechanism. The Minister of Internal Affairs have also said that they are looking at, harmonizing all of our database, so that we can have an identity that is clean, an identity that is unique, an identity that is one. And I think that is another step to approach it, because once you have a clean data and you have a data set that you can speak to, it is easier for you to make certain decisions that can affect every aspect of the verticals of the economy. And I think and I feel that will be germane in the next 2, 3, 4 years of this administration.
Okay, looking at the person in charge of communications and digital economy, talking about Bosun Tijani, we saw him in India meeting with some tech companies from India. He moved to New York, where the United Nations General Assembly is actually holding. He had some side engagements there, and he's reaching out to a whole lot of these tech savvy international corporations. What would you make of these engagements, and what does it translate for the Nigerian AI space, tech space, and all of that?
I think it will just augur well for us, because the truth is, all of these countries that we've mentioned, most especially India, they've gone, far in terms of using technology to drive their economy. And they've created massive job opportunity in that sector as well. And I think we can replicate that in Nigeria. We're already doing it anyways, but we can expand that ecosystem more. And all of these, partnership that the minister is seeking is to generate a lot of investment into our own economy. And I think, and I feel that as someone who is participating in this space, I can 100% tell you that there's a lot of interest, from outside the country into Nigeria, because we are pretty smart. We are a pretty smart nation. The Nigerian population is largely youthful, and our youth are tech savvy, right? And beyond that, you can see that there is an export of service that is already taking place. A lot of Nigerian tech workers are already earning in foreign currency, in dollars, while working, remotely in Nigeria. And that is part of what artificial intelligence does. So you don't necessarily need to be physically present in an office environment, to get your job working. And if you see also the transition from physical meeting to, of course, online meeting, from the Google Meet you have, from Zoom meetings, from Microsoft Team meetings and all of that. That has simplified, all of those headache that you want to probably pay for some flights to travel to X country or X state to have a meeting. So at the comfort of your home, you can actually do a lot sitting down, and there is going to be effect, because they've built tools that can assess you, tools that can identify that you are actually working, tools that can also say that you are productive within the ecosystem. And there are also tools that are managing the HR space, right? Because that is where the artificial intelligence has been even more impactful. Well, about 46% of all of the sectors put together, only the administration and the HR sector is actually, taking a whole lot chunk of 46% in terms of artificial intelligence contribution. And that says a lot, because you talk about paper handling, filings, and all of that. Artificial intelligence will make everything automated, and you already know when someone is going to resume. It is there. We have all of those software platforms that has been built, to help drive the process for us, to help simplify the process of administration and administering, good HR functionality. And that also transcends into the entire department of every organization that you see. That has a ripple effect over time. If Nigeria can imbibe that, right, within the civil service rules, within the civil service commission, that will go a long way, to talk about the ghost workers, that we've been talking about. It will fish out all of those irregularities.
Let me hold your thoughts. You've mentioned a lot of the advantages for the AI, but there are also fears of the jobs that are going to be lost. Talking about 80 to 90 million jobs. You also mentioned that AI, the technology we have today, has reduced traveling from point A to point Z. But you also understand that if you don't travel from point A to point Z, that transporter is not making earnings. That secretary is not going to be working. So how do we balance all of this on the flip side?
Okay, so I will just say something that has a ripple effect or a multiplier effect. Just the way we are scared that artificial intelligence is going to cut job, it is also stated that it will create even far more jobs. And I will give you an example.
Great.
For today, before the advent of hail riders in Nigeria, now you have a lot of graduates that are, doing the business of boats, taxify, and all of that. It has created massive job in that space. And not just that, there are also other, residual jobs that it has created. There are a lot of auto mechanics that now have more jobs to do as well as a result of that increase in the ecosystem. The spare part dealer would definitely go and buy his goods physically, right? Even though sometimes they just call and they already have the items they want to purchase, but sometimes they'll still need to travel, right? So there are also those who have made money, in Nigeria, for instance, working remotely, who want to go for tourism visit. So, because of that effect, there's going to be a multiplier effect where another aspect of the economy will open up. And you will see that those people in the transport industry will definitely have much more passengers as well to deal with, because there is more float, more money in the ecosystem flowing. So it trickles down over the time. The job that we have today in 1940, you don't have this kind of jobs available today. But because of technology, because of today you have a lot of tech workers. Everybody wants to code. Everybody wants to write a program, right? Why? Because there are different opportunities in the different industries that you need to. So I'll give you an example. In the health sector today, assuming you're using a particular hospital, you have your medical records there. Because there's no artificial intelligence software, to centralize all of those data. If you move from this hospital today to the second, or to hospital B, your data is lost. They don't know your medical history. They don't know what drugs you are allergic to and all of that. But with artificial intelligence, there will be a central point where, with a unified code or unified number, identified number for your medical records, anywhere they go to, if all of the hospitals are already subscribing to that platform, just at the click of a button, all of those data can appear.
Okay, Shata, how far is AI gonna go? I'm asking this because, yes, you just mentioned a variety of workspaces that AI can be used to improve productivity. We have, even in the entertainment industry, where you have AI being used to sing songs. They're talking about, we had a protest about a few months ago in the United States of America, talking about Hollywood, where script writers are saying AI is taking their jobs. AI, we are having beautiful scripts from artificial intelligence. How far is AI going?
So when those scripts come on board, which is more or less like chatbot, right? They prompt you, to either write an automated emails for you, messages, correcting, your sentences and all of that. And of course, the script you just mentioned. If those scripts are written, you still need somebody to transform those scripts into reality. And that's where the human interference comes to play, right? People will still need to sing that song out, when they've composed those beautiful, love songs, right? You need somebody to still sing it out. So, and if you agree with me, this is a research that has been done over years. There has never been any contact that has replaced the human contact. That has been one of the most effective contact, right? Because physically, there's a lot more that is achieved beyond you just speaking and communicating. There is body language. There's a whole lot of things you pick out from. And I'm pretty sure both of us also come from that background, development communication, that talks a lot about, the human, contact and interference, with human communicating. Yes, in as much as you have artificial intelligence prompting, there's also limitation. Don't forget that it's also human being that created that artificial intelligence.
Great.
In the midst of writing codes and all of that. So the way human might probably react. So I give you an example. Let's say you set up this room to accept 8 people to come in, and you've set your artificial intelligence mechanism to prompt it. By the time the 8th person enters, the 9th person will not be able to enter, even though you can accommodate more. But a human being can interact to know that, yes, we actually need additional 1 or 2 more people to come in to fill in the space to contribute. So it is a symbiotic relationship. In as much as man exists, man will still continue to drive a lot. But yes, artificial intelligence is going to reduce, a lot of stress for us. Trust me. All of this file handling, all of the things that we do today, you can just sit. How do you think it happens? You order for a ride. The ride comes, the rider knows your location, drives to your location, picks you, takes you to your next destination. It's artificial intelligence that's
now you're talking talking about the soft life. How then should workers prepare for this future, or should we call it the present already?
Yeah, it's already present with us. You will agree with me that prior to now, a lot of our old folks don't really go on social media. But today, most of them know that this is a new normal. So everybody is on social media because they want to belong, they want to interact. So the world has become a global village, right? Where everybody needs to interact differently and separately. But at the same time, what I feel is going to be happening more differently is that with the more involvement with every other nations in participation with technology-driven ecosystem, there's going to be a lot of localizing, the content of what we do, most especially in the different countries, in the different continents. So today, you can see where you have a unified currency that is now almost being digitally driven. And that can also increase trade, right? I've been in sessions of World Trade Organization, and they've consistently, and thank God we have one of us as the DG, of that head, right? That organization, Madam Ngozi Okojuala. She's done tremendously well in terms of preaching how technology, artificial intelligence can drive international trade. And I can guarantee you that with the unification of platforms, with the unification of currencies and being digitized, it makes transaction happen seamlessly from one country to another. And that facilitates a lot of trade activities, thereby increasing the GDP of that country, and at the same time, is encouraging, a lot of employment generating activities, which, if I want to narrow it down again with what is happening in Nigeria today, we are more of a consuming nation than like a producing nation.
We're actually moving from there. Thank you very much, Aliyu, Shata. Thank you.